Have you ever met someone who seems to live under a dark cloud, where everything that happens to them is someone else's fault? Maybe you've even felt that way yourself sometimes. It's a heavy burden to carry, this feeling of being a victim. Today, I want to tell you a story about two people, both facing tough times, and how their different outlooks completely changed their lives. Let's call them Alex and Ben. Alex and Ben worked at the same company, in the same department. They were both good at their jobs, dedicated, and had similar aspirations. But one day, the company announced a major restructuring. Both Alex's and Ben's positions were eliminated. It was a huge blow, completely out of the blue. They were both victims of a corporate decision they had no control over. This is where their paths diverged dramatically. Alex was consumed by bitterness. "I can't believe this happened to me," he'd say to anyone who would listen. "After all the years I gave them, all the late nights, they just threw me away like I was nothing. The management is clueless, my boss never supported me, and the economy is a mess. There's no way I'll find another job as good as that one." Alex spent his days scrolling through job sites. But he'd find a reason to dismiss every opportunity. This one was too far. That one didn't pay enough. Another required a skill he didn't have. He saw every rejection as further proof that the world was against him. His energy became negative and heavy. When he did land an interview, he'd spend more time complaining about his old company than talking about his own strengths. He was stuck, trapped in the story of being a victim. Now let's look at Ben. Ben was just as disappointed and worried as Alex. He had a family to support and bills to pay. He allowed himself a day, just one day, to be angry and frustrated. He punched a pillow, went for a long run, and talked it all out with his partner. He acknowledged the unfairness of the situation. He was a victim of the layoff, and that was a fact. But the next day, Ben woke up with a different mindset. He told himself, "Okay, this happened, I can't change it, but I can control what I do next. What can I learn from this? What opportunities might this open up?" He didn't ignore his feelings, but he refused to let them define his future. Ben updated his resume, but instead of just listing his old job duties, he focused on his achievements. He highlighted how he had saved the company money and improved team efficiency. He saw this as a chance to pivot. He started reaching out to his network, not to complain, but to ask for advice and leads. He said things like, "I'm exploring new opportunities and I'm excited to see what's out there. Who do you know in the tech industry?" He also identified a small gap in his skills that kept coming up in job descriptions. Instead of seeing it as a roadblock like Alex did, Ben saw it as a challenge. He enrolled in a short online course to learn that new software. He was actively taking control, turning a moment of powerlessness into a period of growth. He was building a new story, not of a victim but of a resilient professional. Weeks turned into months. Alex was still unemployed, his savings were dwindling, and his bitterness had pushed away many of his friends. He felt more isolated and victimized than ever. He blamed the system, the job market, everyone but himself. He was waiting for someone to rescue him, to give him what he felt he was owed. Meanwhile, Ben landed a new job. It was in a slightly different field, one he had always been curious about. The pay was better, and the company culture was more aligned with his values. The skill he learned in his online course was the very thing that made him stand out from other candidates. He wasn't just surviving, he was thriving. He had turned a crisis into a catalyst for positive change. So what's the difference between Alex and Ben? They both started in the exact same place. They were both victims of a layoff. The difference wasn't what happened to them, but how they chose to respond. Alex chose to wear the victim label like a permanent identity. He let it define him, and it kept him trapped in a cycle of blame and inaction. Ben, on the other hand, acknowledged the victimizing event but refused to adopt a victim mindset. He understood that while he couldn't control the event, he had complete control over his attitude and his actions in response to it. He shifted from "why did this happen to me" to "what can I do now?" This is a powerful lesson for all of us. Life will inevitably knock us down. We'll face situations that are unfair, unjust, and completely out of our control. In those moments, we are, by definition, victims of circumstance. And it's okay to feel hurt, angry, and sad. Those feelings are valid and human. The danger lies in letting that moment become our entire story. A victim mindset is a prison we build for ourselves. It strips us of our power and convinces us that our fate is in someone else's hands. It's a passive state of being, waiting for the world to change or for a hero to save us. But choosing a mindset of responsibility, like Ben did, is liberating. It's about taking back your power. It's about saying, yes, this bad thing happened, but it does not define who I am or what I am capable of. It's the difference between being a passenger in your own life and being the driver. Think about your own life. Are there areas where you feel stuck, where you feel like things are happening *to you? It could be in your career, your relationships, or your health. Are you playing the Alex role, focusing on who's to blame and all the reasons you can't succeed? Or are you channeling your inner Ben, acknowledging the challenge but focusing on what you can control and what steps you can take, no matter how small? Shifting from a victim mindset to a victim mindset to a victim mindset isn't an overnight change. It's a daily practice. It starts with awareness. Notice your thoughts. When you face a setback, do you automatically look for someone to blame, or do you look for the lesson and the opportunity? It also requires action. Take one small step, just one. Like Ben enrolling in that online course. It could be updating your resume, going for a walk, making a healthy meal, or reaching out to one person for a positive conversation. Each small action builds momentum and reinforces the belief that you are in control. You are the author of your own story. The story of Alex and Ben shows us that our circumstances don't have the final say, our mindset does. We can't always control what happens to us, but we can always control how we respond. Choose to be the hero of your own story, not the victim. Choose to be a Ben. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content on building a powerful mindset. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever made that shift from Alex to Ben in your own life? Share your story. It might just inspire someone else. See you in the next video.